Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a Sunday of racing. We've had the Battaglia de Karts. We had last night's celebration. I hope everyone enjoyed the food truck going through. As I said, they had some really delicious looking food going along. And I'll tell you right now, if you didn't enjoy it, you missed out. Those chicken mole enchiladas are still calling my name, and I wouldn't mind some more elote. But I tell you what, we got through a Saturday night. It's time for a Sunday of racing here to go through the Battaglia de Kart round 3 here from MCC, the Motorsport Country Club of Cincinnati here going through. It's going to be myself, Bradley Dalton, here in the booth taking you through today's action. Joining me, great friend of mine here, the Florida man himself, making the trip up to Batavia, Ohio, Patrick Coleman. Patrick, sir, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Brad. And it's good to be back here for another round with this MCC ProAM series. It was a fun time last week when I was covering it with Sheldon, and yesterday was a fantastic watch as well. So glad to be bringing you this action here. And honestly, I think we're going to have some absolute bangers coming up here today.
If yesterday was any indication, I think today is going to be an absolute amazing show here. 206 cadets just finished up, and Harrison Bell snatched the pole position up from Sam Hornish with Drew Snyder in third, Blake Martinez in fourth. We saw Blake Martinez yesterday in the pre-final and the final. A little bit of contact there. Those top four absolutely dueling it out yesterday. Blake Martinez wasn't very happy at the end of Saturday's run. We'll see if that continues to stay true here for the weekend or if something different comes up. We've got a few different entries here today, a few drivers here, a few drivers missing compared to yesterday. Of course, remember, this is technically round 3. Yes, it is day 2 of Battaglia de Karts, but you treat today, Sunday, like a completely different day than you do Saturday, which means all the points are up for grabs. There's no carryover. It's a whole separate run of the event here. And, well, Patrick, that shakes things up a little bit. You have to wash off the Saturday and then bring a fresh mind into Sunday, which I think can be easier said than done.
100%, Brad. And I mean, you can have a really good day Saturday, but you can't just live off of that success from yesterday. You got to do it all over again today. And the reverse of that is also true. If you had a rough day yesterday, you just got to shake it off like a Taylor Swift song, and you just got to get dialed in and ready to go here for today. There's even a little bit of contact a little bit early on in the 206 junior qualifier. So these 206 juniors are certainly going to punch in the opening stages.
So 206 Junior yesterday was another one of our classes, and we're going to say this a lot today. You might as well just get used to it if you're trackside. If you're watching live on Kart Chaser, good morning. Thank you for joining us for the final day of what is an absolutely exciting quad header going on here on Kart Chaser. We've got 4 different events going on throughout the day, East Coast to West Coast, nationwide as it goes through. Of course, round 3 here of MCC Pro-Am going through. TSRS is in New Orleans, having some fun down in the Soul Food area. K1 eWorlds over on the West Coast going along, and of course, Miami Grands over at Trackhouse Motorplex, a track that is known and loved. And well, Miami Grands, if you've missed out on any of that action, I'll tell you right now, don't cut away from MCC to check it out. Maybe check it out on the lunch break, maybe check it out before finals. But there have been fireworks over at Miami Grands, and it has been absolutely crazy to get to watch and check in on. I was watching that late last night, enjoying some of that run through while I was trying to get to bed to be here today. All right, so 206 Junior qualifying is up going through. Yesterday, Frey, Richard, Matson Vigas had some good runs. The pre-final, they waited till 2 laps to go to absolutely battle through. Homer Heeman in the final got a tramline violation. We had Carson get a meatball flag going through. Evan Frey had a wild time. Elijah Matson-Vigas, as we said, had a run. Right now in qualifying, Elijah Matson-Vigas, looking to redeem the run of yesterday, is up in the front.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we talked about just a few moments ago. If you had a rough day yesterday, today is a fresh start, a new day. You can just go ahead and come in with a brand new mindset, and you could think about that redemption arc that you want to go on here. So we'll see how that transpires as 206 Juniors is well and truly underway. Carson Benjamin is currently leading here just ahead of Elijah Matson-Vigas as they make their way through. All 6 of the 206 juniors have set their opening qualifiers. And the field here today is Carson Benjamin, Elijah Matson-Vigas, Homer He-Man, Evan Frey, William Richard, and Lincoln DeCoster is our field here in the 206 juniors. We know that these drivers can be very, very aggressive, but also very, very quick around here. Even in round 1, we saw Elijah Matson-Vigas make some really good moves throughout the day, and I think he'll definitely be a driver we need to keep an eye on today.
I agree with that completely. Looking through here with Elijah Matson-Vigas running through, had a very, as I said, very wild day yesterday, we can say, going through. Looking at some of the history here of Elijah, has won at G&J Kartway, won there on March 29th, actually, and has won back in September of last year at G&J Kartway. Has had some experience running the K1 circuit over in Whiteland, Indiana with the Indy Karting Challenge, has ran in the Route 66 Sprint Series, and has ran USPKS as well over at Wisconsin and Road America going through. Has had some experience there and some experience in Daytona, so has varying experience. Glad to see Elijah Matson-Vigas here going through. As the timing shuffles along, though, Homer He-Man here with 60 seconds left to go, a 109.580, just a hundredth of a second going through, has picked up a warning, though, already. We're in qualifying for Sunday, and we already see our race director, Seth Stridle, already having to get busy here. Has issued a warning out to Homer He-Man here early on. Doesn't look like it's going to affect the qualifying. It's just kind of a, hey, be careful what you're doing here.
Yeah, it might be track limits. I mean, it could be a variety of things. But you want to get a good qualifying to start things off. You don't want to have the stewards already kind of looking into you in general at this stage, because we haven't even begun the pre-finals or even the finals later on. But so far, it looks like it was a pretty solid qualifying to begin with. It should be about one more lap to go for these 206 juniors with about 20 seconds on the clock. Elijah Matson-Vigas currently leading the field here, not by much though. Not a whole lot separating them. It is just under 0.2 of a second between him and Homer He-Man, the driver we were talking about just a few moments ago. And I wonder if it has anything to do with how close these two are following each other through the slipstream. I believe that is Carson Benjamin actually following Matson-Vigas as we go through. The white and checker flag are out. So it is going to be the final lap for these 206 juniors. The last chance to jump to the top of the standings to get ready for the 206 preheat, which is scheduled here for about 12:15 p.m.
Going to be a couple hours before these karts get to come back out and run around. But Homer He-Man is one of those drivers that, if I am not mistaken on my counts, is running 4 different classes this weekend. So is having a good weekend of it going through. Homer He-Man going through around the line as the checkered flag is out. Right now, Carson Benjamin to the top there with Elijah Matson-Vigas in P2. William Richard will jump up to second, though. Homer He-Man holds third. Evan Frey fourth. So Elijah Matson-Vigas will be fifth. Lincoln DeCoster in sixth. Only kart that we don't have here from yesterday is Eli Alexander. So as we stand, 6 karts in 206 Junior, all of them within very close times of each other, and this is setting us up for a very strong day in 206 Junior. Again, if yesterday was anything to go off of, it's going to be absolutely amazing. Good to see Carson Benjamin up at the front of the board, though. As we shuffle gears here, we go from 206 Junior to 206 Senior. It is a slightly different run schedule today than it was yesterday here. So 206 Senior now coming up with 206 Master, Super Master after that. Then we go into the shifter karts, and then we go to KAs. And KA 100 Master, Super Master combined, Mini and Micro combined, KA 100 Junior, and KA 100 Pro-Am will round up the day the same way it did yesterday. Taking a look at 206 Senior as it went yesterday, Emily DeMaster had a great qualifying going through. AJ Roderick, I tell you what, my heart was hurting for AJ Roderick yesterday. Picked up a 15-second penalty in the pre-final for passing under yellow. Ran all the way up into P2 when it was said and done, but after that 15-second, dropped back to P11. The final, after penalties applied, it ended up being Randall Potter, Emily DeMaster, and Will Wilkie in the pre-final, rounding out the top there in the 206 Senior. And then when you got to the final on the day, it was, elbows out, hard racing in 206 Senior. They were not giving it up at all. You had swaps for position to swaps on position, but when it was said and done, Randall Potter did pick up the front. AJ Roderick with a strong drive all the way back to second, Helton in third, and Emily DeMaster ended up setting in fourth place. So you've got anyone really, I said this yesterday, I say it again, anyone in the top 10 yesterday could have won that race as it went through. And, well, Patrick, looking at the strength of this field here today, I think we're in for a very similar run. A lot of the same names are here, and these drivers are going to be very much ready to go here into 06 Senior.
Yeah, 206 Senior it's such a fun category to watch because these drivers, they have a lot of experience compared to the 206 Juniors, but they still race equally as hard as pretty much any category that we're going to see here just throughout the day. So it should be a fantastic run. We have quite a few karts making their way through as they cross the timing line for the first time. So it's always a fun class to watch, especially on a track layout here that is very good for overtaking. There's quite a few overtaking spots on this national circuit layout that we are using here this weekend. A bit easier to overtake than the historic layout that we used, or sorry, the legacy layout that we used last week for round number 1. So we should see some really good overtakes here once we actually do, I was going to say once we get to the actual pre-finals, but I think even in the qualifier we might see some overtakes. But I'll tell you what, Brad, we'll definitely see a lot of slipstreaming here as drivers try to maximize any form of aerodynamic advantage to try to get the best times possible in this qualifier.
Yeah, the run down the hill here, we watched it a lot and we'll continue to watch it, and it doesn't surprise me, all things considered. The run down the hill towards turn 12, that 180-degree sweeping off camber down to uphill left to then take another sharp 180-degree left going through into 13. So 12 and 13 makes a 360-degree circle to then cut right back 180 degrees through turn 14. The camera hides the elevation change, but I can tell you, if you're at the circuit, that elevation up and down from 10 all the way through to turn 16 back down the front stretch is significant, and especially in these 206 categories, carrying the momentum is very important. One of the fun things about this 206 package, it really relies on you to build momentum and hold momentum. So if you do not do that, you really pay for it in these sections of the track. Through 11 here, up the hill, I've seen drivers not carry momentum up the hill, trying to go for a pass in 11, and get absolutely left in the dust going into 12. Here in 12, you've got to carry the run through. Watch that left rear. You see the tire hop there from the karts coming through as they cut harder into 13, trying to keep that run through. You've got to be able to balance that out, the run through 12 into 13, and then flip back another 180 degrees through 14 as we run down the front stretch here. A minute 30 left to go. You can see how the times are affected through that. I mean, look at this. Adler Klein jumps to the top, 108.069, a half a tenth up on Emily DeMaster. Will Wilkie in third, Curl, Ianello, and then Tanner DeMaster in sixth. Benjamin Lida's up in seventh now. Deeganhart, Krasuski in ninth, and Braden Heber. That was the name yesterday that caught me off guard. Now jumps into seventh, but was very out of pace yesterday. And I'm curious to see if Braden Heber, maybe it's a setup issue, what it may be. Can Braden Heber break into the top here today?
He had a bit of a tough time last week as well in round 1. Braden Heber, we know he's a very quick driver. His resume pretty much speaks for itself, but he just seemingly just hasn't gone along super well with MCC here in terms of just performance itself. We know he's quick. We've seen him a bunch of times here at Kart Chaser. The first time I witnessed him driving was in Whitefield, Indiana, and he was very strong there as part of the IKC. So we know he's got the pace, but he just needs to unlock that pace here for MCC. It's been a tough couple of weeks there for Braden Heber, the number 8 kart. So, but I mean, it is a pretty long day, so I mean, we could see him make some really, really good moves up through the field as we continue on with today's proceedings.
Yeah, let's talk about Braden Heber here. Just taking a look at the history of Braden. Multiple wins over in Whiteland, Indiana, going through multiple challenges here in MCC as well, has ran nationally going through, has ran CKNA rounds, has ran all over the place. But I don't know for Braden Heber. Again, this is a driver that we know is fast, we know is quick, we know is consistent. But it just seems like here the first couple rounds haven't clicked through as we go through 206 Senior here. And right now it's Ryan Curl up on the top of the timing tower. That is a name going through. I said anyone in the top 10 could go through and find it in the top. And I'm telling you right now, Ryan Curl here, who has stepped up to 206 Senior from 206 Junior last year, is having a great run going through. Comes across, though, is going to start dropping down as the times roll through. Emily DeMaster to the front. Is it a repetition of yesterday? DeMaster up in the top. Iannello in second. Klein, Curl. Wait, Benjamin Lida up into P3. You want to talk about a name that is going to be shaking things up. Benjamin Lida here going through as we continue to shuffle. Everyone locks in here, so it is DeMaster, Iannello, Lida, Klein, Curl, Wilkie, Heber, Tanner DeMaster, Gavin Deeganhart, Tanner Gorman, your top 10 with William Speck, Vince Krasuski, and Katie McDaniel, your 13-206 seniors that are on the run here today looking to make a challenge. So now that that is through, 206 Senior is done, we're going to take a step aside here in just a couple minutes. The next category to come out, 206 Master Supermaster, here on Kart Chaser live from MCC.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsport Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here live on Kart Chaser for the MCC Pro-Am Challenge. It's Brad here, joined by Patrick. And Patrick, let's take a look at this field coming through, because I tell you what, we want to talk about a class that always produces great runs here. Master, Supermaster, out and about here, getting their run through. 206 Master, Supermaster, as the clock is running, getting their first laps down. And well, we talked about them yesterday a lot because they had some interesting runs, and this was a class, again, I said anyone in the top 10 had a strong chance, and well, they mixed it up, they battled it out. Elwood, Geist, Gorman, McCorkindale, those four absolutely had a time yesterday, swapping back and forth, and it was good to see Chris Gorman, the Supermaster, in the mix with the Masters, fighting it out for the overall win. When we have a combined class, sometimes you wonder how that's going to split, and yesterday it was a clear indication that Masters and Supermasters, they can shake it out with each other and sometimes battle it out hard.
Yeah, I mean, this is a class where experience is definitely one of the most characteristic traits of these drivers. Drivers who have definitely been around the block quite a few times. They won't go for some of the more optimistic moves that we will see from, say, the juniors and such, but it's because they have the experience to know what moves are more likely to go ahead and be successful here. And it's always really fun when you have mixed categories to see those two categories really mixing it up here. We've seen that over the last 2 weeks with a lot of our different mixed categories here. The mini micros were a lot of fun to watch last week, and I mean, considering that this field is absolutely stacked here in the 206 Masters and Supermasters, this is probably going to be one of the most entertaining classes that we'll watch all day. 20 different karts are on track here in this split category. 2 minutes ago, it is Alan Elwood leading the field at the moment, but not by much ahead of Evan McCorkadale, as it is just a singular hundredth of a second between.
So looking through here, yesterday we had 10 Masters, 8 Super Masters go through. Today we have 11 Masters and 9 Super Masters. So a couple of extra names joining us that weren't here yesterday, which is going to help make some great battles through, and we're seeing already the flip through for positions. But as it stays true, Elwood at the top of the board with McCorkadale and Gorman up there. Matt Geist in 4th. Troy Toney, now that's a name to watch there in 5th. Joey Musel there in 6th. Joey was fastest in warm-ups there in the 111, but warm-ups are warm-ups. So same thing, though, I say, qualifying is qualifying. Yes, it's good to see, but Joey Musel, here we go. That 111 up to the top with a 108.8, half a second up on Alan Elwood.
That is a really impressive gap here. It just shows that he came here today and meant business, almost just about half a second ahead. That is really, really impressive there from the number 111. We'll see if he can keep it up, though. There is about a minute left in qualifying. So it's going to be about 2 more laps here, roughly, in this qualifier for these drivers to get a good chance to make the moves that they need to make and just try to get the best time possible. We can see a very nice train of karts here trying to optimize that aerodynamic. And you mentioned earlier, Brad, the momentum. Trying to keep that momentum is going to be such a crucial one. Being in a train like this can either really help you out or it can really kind of hurt. So we'll see which category this falls into, as it should be about 1 more lap here in the qualifier. And a lot of improvement across the board, but the name at the top still remains. Joey Musel still leads by now over half a second, so he is improving at a very strong rate.
Joey Musel there, the Lexington, Kentucky native, not too far from my neck of the woods, actually, within about an hour of me. Should have carpooled with him up here for the Sunday run. Has experience running CKNA Grands, has experience in the OVKA Championship Series going through, is a driver that I'm seeing experience, at least that I can find on a quick search, going back over a decade. So this is a driver with a lot of experience, really knows what he's running here in that Newsel Motorsports cart, and he is going to have a great run here. We'll see what he can do as he goes along. He's had fun and challenges and runs, and well, I tell you what, you can look them up for yourself if you want to see some of that experience, but it's definitely there. That is the fun of Masters and Super Masters. You've got drivers that have been driving a very, very long time as we come down for the checkered flag here, going along, and well, let's see how the time shuffle. McCorkadale up in the second by 9 milliseconds behind Joey Musel there. Troy Toney holds in 3rd, Alan Elwood in 4th, Chris Gorman and Todd Davis 5th and 6th. Matt Geist holds 7th. We're still waiting on a few karts to come across the line, though, so let's see how that stays true. I see the hand up there from one of the karts staying out of the way. Several karts pulling into the pits here. It looks like a lap early, deciding they don't want to run the extra way through, but all in the run. Joey Musel holds the top there. Evan McCorkadale, P2. Troy Toney in 3rd. Alan Elwood, Chris Gorman, Todd Davis, your top 6 with Geist, Noble, Doug Cook, and Aaron Reed, your top 10. Matthew Burpo, Matt Noble ended 11 and 12. Scott Morrison, Daniel Feeler, Ryan Bradshaw, John DeMaster, Larry Pike, Renee Moeller, Robert Musel, and Mike Doty. Your 20 Master and Super Master combined here in the 206 category to round out the 4th qualifying of 9 here today. And well, Patrick, I'm going to tell you right now, this category is going to be one to watch into turn 1.
Oh yeah, 20 karts trying to navigate turn 1 is going to be a very tricky one, but it should still be a very entertaining watch as we get ready for the next qualifier up here on the day. It is the shifter and junior shifter, which is honestly probably one of my favorite classes and one of the most unique classes here on today's running, because unlike all the other karts here, these karts actually have multiple gears, and they're the only class here that actually gets a standing start for their pre-final and their finals. Every other category does get that rolling start, but here, if you actually have to get a good launch off the line to get a good run into turn 1. We won't see that here, At least not yet, as it is qualifying, so everybody will get that rolling start. But this class is definitely one of the more technical classes. And even when I just do rental karts at my local K1, I mean, it's tricky sometimes just navigating through some of the corners with no gears. Trying to navigate some of these very fast and sweeping corners while changing gears, I mean, kudos to these drivers. That takes some skill.
That it does here as we get ready to see these karts roll out. Yesterday, it was a 5-second pace advantage for Kyle Drysdale. 5 seconds on the stopwatch. I'm not exaggerating, ladies and gentlemen. 5 seconds was the pace difference. I got to wonder, did any of these drivers go and say, hey, I'll buy you an enchilada if you will give me a idea here of what is going to be happening? Like, hey, tell me where you found 5 seconds on me, and hey, let me buy you some dinner here. I would have. I'm not ashamed to say it. I would have. I'd have offered Kyle Drysdale dinner, dessert, and my bed if he wanted it, to get a answer of that run there, because the pace was ridiculous looking through for Kyle Drysdale. Like, hey, is my bed comfier than yours? You can sleep here. I'll go sleep outside on the concrete. I don't care a bit. Because where did that pace come from was my question. Homer Heeman was the pole for Shifter Jr. Had a great run going along for him as well. So we'll see how it goes through. Let's talk about some of these upcoming events, though, in May, Patrick, because it's going to be a very, very busy May here at Kart Chaser. Tons of double and triple headers coming up here, going through the Cours de Montreal on May 9th and 10th here. Yes, we are going to Canada. Apex Karting Championship on the 16th and 17th at Newcastle Motorsports Park. A triple header on the weekend of May 16th and 17th. CK&A there at the Tag Karting Academy will be covered here by Kart Chaser. And then, of course, we come back on the 17th here to MCC for the next round of the Pro-Am Karting Championship, just a few weeks away as we go through as Shifter and Junior Shifter get their way on the track here, Patrick. We already see Kyle Drysdale's out there going. But as you said, these Shifter karts, I mean, it's a whole other beast.
Yeah, it's a different challenge as well. Like I mentioned earlier, I mean, I know I haven't driven these karts in particular, but I can just imagine how tricky it is to navigate these corners with this level of efficiency in a car with no gears, with both hands on the steering wheel, but you have to change gears into the corners, going down the straights. It's literally a handful to try to navigate with. But these drivers, for most of them, if not all of them, this isn't their first rodeo, so, I mean, they got experience with this, and it's definitely something that practice will definitely make perfect with. So I'll be curious to see how this category runs through the day, as we have 4 karts here in this category. Actually, I think it's 5 karts here in this category. Almost a perfectly even split in between the juniors and the regular shifters. So there are 3 junior shifters and 3 pro shifters here. So should be a fun run here today.
That it should here. Taking a look through. Yesterday it was a 4-4 split we had in qualifying. Jeff Carroll didn't get a lap in, unfortunately, for a mechanical failure going through. Jeff Carroll is out there today, and it looks like as drivers continue to get their laps along in this run, we may actually still have that 4-4 split at the moment. Kyle Drysdale first lap in 56.065. So when you consider that some of our classes are running a minute 8 laps here around this 0.95 mile circuit with 16 corners, the fact that a shifter kart is going around 5 seconds down, as we already have one kart off into the grass here on the back of the front stretch, the exit of turn 16, it looks like that is a mechanical failure for somebody, unfortunately. So another kart here in shifter facing the reality that sometimes mechanical failures are just the nature of this racing, and unfortunately you add more moving parts in. You know, here with the shifter, you have to shift. You don't just necessarily pull start your 206 or push start your KA and get rolling. You unfortunately do have to shift. You have more mechanical linkage, more parts, and unfortunately that can mean it is easier to get a mechanical failure.
Yeah, more mechanical parts means more opportunities for something to unfortunately go sideways. I've always said that mechanical failures are the biggest heartbreak in motorsport. And it looks like there might be another one right there, as they're going to try to get that kart back rolling. That is the red and yellow kart. And it looks like they were able to go ahead and get that cart back rolling. So that might have been, I think that was Kyle Fogg who was stationary there in that bright red and yellow cart. So good thing they at least got him back going to some degree. But mechanical failures, man, we've seen a few of them in the first 2 rounds here this season, and they're, no matter how many times you see them, it's always so heartbreaking to witness, because most times there's nothing you could have done.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you kind of watch and you just wait and see, and well, when it happens, you have to pick it up and say there's nothing I really could have done different, unless there was something you could have done different, and sometimes that just absolutely is the worst feeling. 60 seconds left to go here. Gap right now 3.1 seconds between Kyle Drysdale and Kevin Simonelik as they run through. Homer Heeman currently running right at a minute .2 last lap. Best lap of a 59.8 is the best run here. Gap now 2.7 between the top 2. So the times are getting closer here between the karts. They are closing in the gap as the weekend goes. We're seeing everyone seem to figure this track out. Kevin Simonelik there in second, definitely looking good here to try to challenge Kyle Drysdale. The thing too that you have to watch out for, though, is that, as you've gotten better, and this is one of the interesting things to think about, Patrick, as some of these karts are getting better, is we already see some practice passes going along here, going through around turn 12. That is a quick way to go there. That's Simonelik and Homer Heeman running their way along, having a good little swing through. Simonelik sending it around, trying to find that fastest lap possible to take on Drysdale. Will come across the line. He's clearly getting past her in pace, but unfortunately, with having to get past Homer Heeman in turn 12, doesn't get faster, but certainly looks quick. But this is the interesting thing, Patrick. As they've all gotten faster, Kyle Drysdale is going to get more comfortable and more faster. So what do you do in that scenario?
Probably just try to keep it up. Honestly, just try to keep up that rate of improvement. Keep that consistency as well. If you're consistently improving, I mean, you talked about it yesterday. That gap was about 5 seconds yesterday in this category. Now it's down to about 3. So you already shaved off a couple of seconds in between yesterday and today. And that's the beauty of, if we were running a doubleheader like we are this weekend, you're running the same track. It's not like you have to kind of learn a whole new track layout. So that does help quite a bit. So if I were any of these drivers, I would just take some positives away and say, like, yeah, I made some really good improvements here. There may still be work to do, but I made some really good improvements here, and that's a good step forward.
Absolutely it is. And again, a round out of your results here as it goes. Kyle Drysdale up to the top with Kevin Simonelik will be starting right beside Kyle Foe there in third, with Homer Heeman in fourth. Robert Lash leads Simonelik. Yes, 2 Simoneliks in one run here, and Drake Williamson in 7th. Jeff Carroll in 8th did not get a lap in, unfortunately, here going through. We're going to shift gears now. We've done all the shifting we need to do on the day, so we're going to stop shifting gears, in fact. Let's jump over to the IAME engine packages. We're going to start with KA100 Master and Super Master here coming up next. As they get ready to run here, you see everyone down on the grid. Engines are fired. Fist bumps are being given out as we get ready to roll. And well, for KA100 Master Super, let's talk about what was super about these runs. Well, you had Andy and Chris yesterday, and if you know anything about those two, Andy Kutcher, Chris Kutcher, they ran 4 milliseconds apart. They did what they always do, what we always see the Kutchers do here around MCC. They hooked up nose to tail and absolutely sent it around the track. 4 milliseconds was the gap between those two. And then, of course, we saw the fun in pre-final, Andy and Chris. They slot together P1, P2 early, hold it together, and 2 laps to go. Andy Kutcher has to pull off of turn 11 with a mechanical failure. Chris went on to take the win, and then Paul Meese was in second place, 6 seconds back for Supermaster there going through. In the final, well, and Andy, in a matter of 10 corners, I want to call it, worked his way up into second place, hooks up with Chris. Andy and Chris duel it out through the finals. So, with that being said, looking at today at the entries as they go through and taking a look at who is showing up here today. It's going to be one of those in the Master Supermaster. Chris Kutcher was fastest this morning. Andy was right behind him there, though, by a tenth. You've got Damian Jennings, Paul Meese, Jared Tracy, Joey Newsel is running in K Master as well. Greg Lay and Neil Hamilton, who did not take a warm-up lap this morning but is signed up for the session. So you've got 4 Master, 4 Supermaster, and a lot of pace and knowledge in this category.
Yeah, so we'll see if the Kutcher brothers can really just keep it up here. Keep up the good performances. And actually, Chris Kutcher actually had a really good run last week as well, last Saturday for round 1. I mean, he was nigh untouchable last week. So we'll see if they can keep up that pace here today. But, I mean, this is going to be another really fun category as we are, I think, just about to get underway here with the KA Master and Supermaster qualifier. And then we have 3 more qualifiers left on today. The Mini Micros, our final split category. And then the KA 100 Juniors and the KA 100 Seniors. And that will be our qualifying docket of the day. But it is qualifying now for the KA Masters and Supermasters. They have been unleashed to the track. We'll see them try to generate some tire temperatures into those slicks and try to make sure that those tires are fired up in the best operational window. Because if you want a good time, you need some good grip, and to get some good grip, you need heat in those tires.
Already see one kart with the hand up there going through, letting everyone by through 9 and 10 into 11. As we look up into the front here going along, that is going to be one of the Kutchers who is letting everyone through. That's Andy going through. And look at the grip on the kart there, completely lifting the left rear through 12 and 13. Andy muscling that kart along. And I think, unfortunately, I don't think Chris was able to get away well. I saw a hand up on someone that looked like Chris Kutcher's kart. And usually we see Andy and Chris nose to tail. They exited the pit lane nose to tail. I think, unfortunately, we may have a case where Chris Kutcher is going to be fighting from the back on the run here early on as everyone gets going here, running their way through in the Master and Supermaster qualifying. Yes, that is, unfortunately, Chris off in the inside of turn 11. So let's talk about a heartbreak here for the weekend. But, of course, we know Andy and Chris are fast. We'll have to wait and see how that fighting goes through. As Andy comes through, is going to see Chris there along, and then it's going to probably have a quick second, Patrick, of, wait a minute, who's behind me then?
Yeah, probably. I mean, if you're expecting Chris and suddenly you look behind you, do that look over your shoulder like, wait a minute, who are you? And he'll probably get that answer soon enough as we get through. About 3 minutes to go left in the KA Master and Supermaster qualifier. We'll see who's going to set the pace really early on. Now, I would say that I would definitely put in a lot of faith in Andy Kutcher. But the one beauty of motorsport is that the only predictable thing about it is the fact that it will always be unpredictable by nature. As we go through with the first opening laps, it is Andy Kutcher about 1.2 seconds ahead of Paul Meese. As we're going to continue on here, Damian Jennings about half a second further behind as we go ahead and get through our first and opening laps here of the session. It'll be a really fun battle to see who can really just make up the most in the remaining parts of this qualifier. 2 minutes to go, still a lot to play for.
Going to be exciting to watch here for these karts running their way along here as we check out Paul Meese here, who is running around this track going through. Paul Meese trying to find some good time here going along. Bright green helmet, tons of pace here coming through, continuing to put in some competitive times in that Supermaster category. Currently only 0.8 off of Andy, by the way. So in Supermaster, finding some great pace there. And look at the grip going through turn 2. These Masters and Supermasters, they are, of course, the Briggs & Stratton engines here. They are the IAME engines. I'm thinking of 206 for some reason, but they run these IAME engines going through. They rev up very high, and again, you want to carry momentum. The more momentum you can carry, the more grip you can demand out of those MG tires, the better you can go. And the better you can go, well, the faster you go. And the challenge with that is that grip coming through. So watch the karts, especially through turn 2, 12 and 13, turn 4, those are the sections of the track, those hard hairpins. That left rear is completely lifting off, and you're seeing the cart almost just go up on 3, close to 2 wheels as the grip is just pulling the cart around.
Yeah, it's really awesome just seeing how much grip these KA Masters and Super Masters have. And I mean, you can see that they are they're super comfortable in these carts as well, because a majority of them are pushing to the cart's limit as we are down now to the final minute of this qualifying session here. Chris Kutcher currently leading the field as it sits right now. Actually, sorry, that's Andy Kutcher, wrong sibling there. He is about half a second clear of Paul Meese, and then is Greg Leahy currently in P3. So we're seeing some really good runs here from these drivers, and I think we're going to continue to see some fantastic pace from these Masters and Super Masters as it's 10 seconds left to go on the clock. Who can improve and who is just going to stay right where they are? The timer is about to run to 0 as we get going here, and some drivers are already pulling into the pits. Checker flag is out, and that will be Paul Meese improving slightly as the rest of the field comes on through, but still a really good gap here in the qualifier as our results are here is Chris Kutcher, actually Andy Kutcher ahead of Paul Meese, Greg Leahy, Damian Jennings, Gerard Tracy, Joey Newsel, and Neil Hamilton, rounding out our 7 competitors on the field. Next up will be the the Mini and Micro Swift Series coming up. But first, we're going to send you to a quick commercial break. We'll be back.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
You know, I'm really starting to like this go-karting thing.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my god.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Of
Yeah.
Well,
course.
dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayKara.com. At ShopPayKara.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayKara.com.
Who is he talking to?
No idea.
But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Kart Chaser. It is now the mini and micro category qualifying here for day number 2 of Battalion of Karts as they go along through. And let's talk about how mini and micro went yesterday. It was Min Lewis in the qualifying who had a good run. It took a few attempts, though, to get the start in the pre-final going along. Min had a 2.8 second lead over Sam Hornish, and then going along through. Actually, sorry, that was the final. It was a 2.8 second lead. It was a 3.5 second lead between Min Lewis and Sam Hornish in the pre-final, going through with Martinez in third, and then Min Lewis pulled the win out. So, needless to say, if you were Min Lewis, it was a great weekend, or a great Saturday going through. You've got Min Lewis here and Sam Hornish out today on track, along with Brogan Wren making it back through for the micro category. And for our youngest karts that sometimes you see some of the craziest moments going through, Patrick, this is going to be an exciting one to watch these two.
Yeah, for these drivers, I mean, the beautiful thing about this category is you got probably drivers that will go for the most optimistic moves out of any category racing here today. And then on top of that, you have the smallest, like physically the smallest karts that are racing on track here today. So, I mean, you couple that, especially with a layout that's extremely good for overtaking, with a lot of different overtaking opportunities available, then, I mean, you have a recipe for a very hard-fought race here. And I think today, when we get to the pre-finals and the finals, I think we have a fantastic opportunity to see some peak mini micro Swift racing here on the day, as the drivers are making their way through the downhill sector, coming through the sweeping corners. That actually reminds me of turns about, I want to say it's 2 through 4 out of track over in Barcelona. It reminds me of that Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya turns 2 to 4, I want to say, the run through 12 and 14 here on the track. But so far, about 2 minutes in qualifying, a perfectly even split so far in the mini micros. 2 minis, 2 micros. You love to see it.
Absolutely. Only driver that we lost from yesterday, we had 5 entries in this category yesterday. Only driver not here is Blake Martinez. So still running 2 and 2 here going through. And it's going to be fun to watch and see, because right now it's 14 one-thousandths of a second Sam Hornish over Min Lewis. So you know that they're going to have a good battle going through this race of the day. It's 8-minute pre-final plus 1 lap, 10-minute final plus 2 lap. And of course, remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching live here on Kart Chaser, you have to be a Kart Chaser member to get to watch pre-final and final live. Qualifying here will bring you through the day, but then once we get through the Pro-Am qualifications here, starts at about 11:15 a.m., will end at about 11:20-ish. Once we get through Pro-Am qualifying, we step behind the paywall. $9.99 a month. You get all of the action for all of your series that you could pick. And, well, again, this weekend it's a quad header, so there's tons of action that you're not going to get to see unless you're a Kart Chaser member on YouTube. Don't sign up on Apple, though. Apple tax on a $3 tax just because you use an iPhone. Make sure you get on YouTube.com or an Android device and you sign up that $9.99 a month. Again, all of the coverage live as it happens here on Kart Chaser. Minute 20 left to go in qualifying right now, and the gap is now half a second. Hornish to Min Lewis going through. Brogan Wren currently leads Griff Heeman going through. And, well, Patrick, that brings up the good fact. How many times have we seen the last name Heeman? How many times are we going to see the last name Kutcher? Here at MCC, this tends to be a family affair going through. We see multiple generations of families from the Supermasters all the way down to the Minis.
And that's the beautiful thing about karting as well. Well, granted, no motorsport is cheap by any stretch, but, I mean, we're definitely far from the Formula One pricing of insane millions of dollars to race. So you can often see family affairs at this grassroots level. That's why we love these grassroots level events, because you said it perfectly, Brad. This is a family affair. I mean, we have seen so many different family combinations here over the course of the last 2 weeks. We had the father-daughter last week in round 1, and then we have siblings, we have father-son. Pretty much almost every familial combination you can come up with will be on track at some point, whether in the same category, whether in separate categories. And karting really is, it's probably one of the best family sport, I would say, honestly. The white flag is out, and we're going to see the end of the Mini Micro Swift qualifiers here, as coming through corners 12, 13, and 14, making their way to the line. We do have Min Lewis just ahead of the 111 of Sam Hornish, making their way to the line, who is going to be on the top of the timing tables. And it is going to be Sam Hornish ahead of Min Lewis now. So we'll see how the rest of the qualifying order shakes out. But it is Hornish on top. 3-1, he'll add another P1 to his name. And as your qualifying results are here, it is Sam Hornish ahead of Min Lewis, Brogan Run, and Griff He-Man rounding out our 4 competitors in this category. Now we head to the KA Juniors, which has been a fantastically feisty class pretty much over the last 2 weeks.
That it has, of course, yesterday, tons of shuffling up and down the field. You had Ben Gleberman going through with He-Man going along with Alex Kutcher in the mix. Homer He-Man making a great run in the mix as well. And then Alex Kutcher in the end was able to get a win over Homer He-Man going through. So the Kutcher is able to have a great weekend here at MCC as of yesterday. We'll see if that continues along today going through on the run. Kai Park, 4th place there in kind of the middle pack, had pace to keep up with the front, dropped out of the draft, and then unfortunately just never could catch back up because those top 3, Kutcher, Heeman, and Gleberman, able to take off going through. And then you had Lash, William Richard, Lila Beck, and Elijah Matson-Biggis, who had some great battles as well going through. The rest of the entries yesterday were Andrew Avalos, Caleb Tracy, Drake Williamson, and Eli Furnish. All of your mixes here in the KA Junior category. Our next to last qualifying session here of the morning, getting ready to roll in just a moment. As soon as they are ready to go, you see the last second looks at the engine, last second coaching going through from the teams, and everyone just waiting to see that red light on the fence turn green and clear the track and send it through as micro minis are pulled in. Step to the side, green flag is out. Green light is on, I should say, and we are rolling. Let's get these carts rolling their way through 6 entries here for your Sunday. And, well, let's take a look at how that's going to shape itself up. Caleb Tracy, Andrew Avalos, Lila Beck, Kai Park, William Richard are out. I'm sure we're going to see more make their way through as we go along here. We had 12 entries yesterday.
Indeed, and we should see some really good action here in these KA Juniors. It's always a really fun class to watch. They can provide some of the most spectacular and brilliant wheel-to-wheel racing as the green light is blinking and the drivers are already making their way out onto the circuit. And it should be a good run here. We'll see who's going to be at the top of the timing table. Can we see Caleb Tracy top the charts? Is it going to be Andrew Avalos, Lila Beck? Can Kai Park park it onto the front row? Are we going to see William Richard go ahead and jump up to the top? We'll have our answers here momentarily as we go ahead and get going here. The formation lap is done, and now we go on to qualifying. Some drivers trying to use the slipstream, trying to carry the momentum here as we make our way through the opening laps of the KA 100 Junior qualifying.
And you see there's a good split between the field as well. You've got 6 carts here together that are running, and then you've got another group of carts further back behind, and that includes Ben Gleberman, Homer Heeman, Alex Kutcher, Robert Lash there making their way along in that second pack that's going through. So you've got a split run. What's going to be interesting is how does that timeout lapse? Who is going to really be able to capitalize and get that additional lap in that they may not be able to get otherwise as we continue to watch these carts go through. Again, your front pack is Kai Park, Lila Beck, William Richard, Andrew Avalos, and Caleb Tracy going through here with Eli Furnish at the tail end of this 6-cart pack. The second pack now, as we look at them go down turn 11 and up, it's everyone's 7th place through on your timing. 11 carts currently out there running through. First time's coming in for Lila Beck. It's a 101.7 with Andrew Avalos at a 101.79. Half a tenth separating them as we wait on this second pack of KA Juniors to come through, and we'll see how they shape things up. Again, this has Homer Heeman, Alex Kutcher, Ben Gleberman, your top 3 from yesterday. It looks like they're all currently packed together through, and what do you know? They go 1, 2, 3 on the board. Kutcher, Heeman, Gleberman, your top 3 as it stands. They pull a second over Lila Beck's time.
Very good stuff there. I mean, we saw the name of Kutcher dominating earlier on, and it looks like we'll see that yet again here Alex Kutcher going ahead and leading by just under 0.2 of a second there ahead of Homer He-Man and Ben Gleberman as we continue on here in qualifying. About 2 minutes to go here. And this is going to be a good one. They're all going to go ahead and get the good slipstream coming down the hill as we make our way through, coming through turns 12 through 14. And it's probably a really enjoyable run to be like in the driver's seat of these carts from the run from turn 11 down into the sweeping left-hand corner of turn 12. It's probably a massive blast to go ahead and make that run. Gleberman does jump to the top of the timing tables, however, so he is trying to put on a pretty good challenger, just under 1.5 or just over 1/10.5 quicker than Homer He-Man as they continue to run on through. We see the carts running exceptionally close together to try to maximize that aerodynamics. And unlike some other forms of motorsport, front wings and rear wings aren't exactly a thing when it comes to karts. So we have to just try to become the aerodynamics as they go ahead with 1 minute to go in qualifying.
60 seconds to go here, and we'll see where this plays itself through as we continue to watch these karts fight their way along this K100 field. Again, they've split themselves up 6 and 5 with the packs moving through, so I'll be curious to see how they form themselves up as they go their way through, because it's going to be just a big challenge for them to really figure out how they want to mix things up and how the timing is going to end. Because if you get that extra lap to put in some time, you can kind of find your way through. And as it looks right now, I don't know that that's going to happen, as we have our first pack of karts here led by the 828 at Kai Park coming through the final corners now. 5 seconds left to go. Do they get that cheeky bonus lap is the question, and if they do, who gets it? As the time is through, checkered flag is out, and nobody on the pack is going to get a bonus lap. Kai Park moves up to 4th to lock in. Robert Lash currently sitting in 5th. Avalos locks in. Furnish, Richard, Tracy, Lila Beck are all locked in here in K100 Junior. We got to wait on the rest to come across, though, because there are a couple here who could find a time, including the 870 of Carson Benjamin, who's kind of just running in a land of their own right now. Coming across here, this is Gleberman, Kutcher, Heeman going through, and it's Alex Kutcher up to the point with a sub 60 second lap, 59.745 with a 1 minute flat for Ben Gleberman. 1 minute .000, but a sub 60 is found by the 878 of Alex Kutcher. Homer Heeman is 0.3 off with a 1 minute .07, and then from there, Robert Lash 1 minute .3, Kai Park 1 minute .4, Andrew Avalos, Eli Furnish, William Richard, Caleb Tracy, Lila Beck, and Carson Benjamin. The whole field separated by 2 seconds. Your top 6 separated by 0.8. This is going to be a competitive KA100 Junior category.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be really fun to see. Now it's the KA100 Pro-Am is going to be the next karts to roll out as they're waiting for that red light to go ahead and turn green. And I mean, that was a really good performance there. Pace just runs in that Kutcher family, doesn't it? I mean, sub 1 minute. The only driver, in fact, in that category to get a sub 1 minute. That is fantastic pace there. But honestly, I don't think we've seen nothing yet. I think we're going to see some fantastic pace as we go into the last qualifier of the day. It is the KA100 Pro-Ams getting ready to roll out onto the circuit. And then at noon, we will be here for the beginning of the pre-finals, which should be a fantastic run. But beforehand, we got the KA100 Pro-Ams getting ready to begin their qualifying session.
Again, as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, when we switch over for that pre-final, we will be going behind the paywall. So if you want to catch all of that action live today, and again, it's a quad header Sunday, there's tons of action going on. You don't want to miss out. $9.99 a month gets you all of that action live as it happens. K100 Pro-Am here for the MCC Pro-Am Challenge. is currently out on track right now here in Batavia, Ohio, where it is currently feeling like it's 60 degrees outside. The sun is shining. It's nice. The track is very, very gripping up. And one of the things we got to watch here as it's 56 degrees, it feels like 70 with the sun out, nice and sunny. Should be getting to a feel like of 70, and no scare of pop-up showers today. Yesterday we had some pop-up showers that were looming in the area. We saw some risk of rain, but thankfully nothing struck. One of the things to watch here is we see already some passing into 4 here in qualifying. Well, that track is going to get very, very grippy. One of the things with MCC is it becomes a very grippy track. You see the rubber laid out there going through. You see the Tony car already going past Heber there, going along as we watch this run through. That is Adler Klein up in the front, I believe, getting the way through and forcing the way to the front of the field. Feels quick, wants to be in position there. Definitely going to try to do so over Hebert going along. But one of the things to watch here, Patrick, again, we talked about it earlier with some of our different 206 categories. Watch how grippy the track is here in 12 and 13. In these KA categories, one of the things to really watch, they will slide, but if they don't slide, those rear wheels can come up. I've seen karts go on 2 tires before, and it can create some big moments and big passes in different categories.
Yeah, I can assure you that going on 2 wheels in a kart is pretty terrifying stuff. So you'll probably, Brad and I will probably get a heart attack in the booth, and we're not even the ones actively racing in the karts if we see someone going on 2 wheels. I just can't imagine following somebody and they end up on 2 wheels. That is going to take a split-second reaction to try to avoid, but the track is getting grippier as the day goes on, and just considering the amount of events we got, even though this is the last qualifier, we still have pre-finals and finals to go through. This is going to get grippier as more rubber is applied to the surface.
Yeah, and as we watch the karts continue their way along here, it's going to be a very, very exciting day. You see all of these Brile Art karts here with Trinity Karting Group. You see all of that run. Of course, the home here of TKG going along, so no surprise to see all of these karts being represented going along. Multiple of the karts running their way through for TKG as they use MCC, of course, for their home. But one of the things that they do as well is, well, you're going to see what they can do on the run, how they move their way along. That's a team that is going to be very, very quick here as they run their way along here in Batavia, Ohio. So keep your eye on them as they go and watch how they challenge through. We saw yesterday, though, the thing that we saw yesterday was teammates becoming a big thing because we had Big Sizzle up in the mix. Isaac Malkowit, who ran yesterday and had an amazing time, but who isn't here today? Big Sizzle himself not here. Malkowit, Steele, and Mueller had such a run yesterday, but who is here today? Finnegan Bailiff here in that 949 kart going through at a 59.004. Top of the timing tire right now, sub 60 seconds to go.
Yeah, very good stuff here. And actually, just the top 3 with Logan Mueller going ahead and jumping as well as Will Stell goes ahead and jumps up to the top of the timing table. Less than a 1/10 of a second separates our top 3 here. So that is very, very impressive. And I mean, this KA Pro-Am category, they're always so tightly knit, right? It's always such a fun class. It's so much fun watching, just because this is usually one of our bigger classes that we have here, Kart Chasers. Usually a pretty well-stacked field, as there will be 20, or actually 15 seconds on the clock, and there's a kart off the track there. Is that a mechanical issue? The hand is being waved, and that is a mechanical failure. Oh, that is a rough time to get one here.
That is one of the Trinity Karting Group karts that is off as well going through. So back rolling now, but definitely some sort of issue. Checkered flag is out, and we'll see where does Finnegan Bailiff land here. A driver whose backyard is apparently within 10 steps of the racetrack here in the KA 100 Pro-Am category. Is going to sit second place right now, 7/100 of a second off of Will Still. Logan Mueller in third, top 3 separated by under a 1/10 of a second. Adler Klein fourth, Addison Ianello in fifth, Max Klein in P6, Tegan Schneider in 7th. Braden Heber currently sitting P8 with Gavin Degenhart 9th, Ryan Miller will round out the top 10 as final times come through, though. Maybe this shuffles up a little bit. We still have a few karts here, as you see, going through to put in final times. Where are they going to land on the run here going through? Finnegan Bailiff is, again, sitting in second. Also, a driver that has some experience in MX-5. So we'll see if you can use any experience out of a Mazda Miata to run through and go along. That's a fun fact to bring through. Will steal the front here going through. Again, Bailiff, Mueller, and second and third. All of the drivers crossing the line. Nothing shuffling up here in the top 10 as they run through as they were. So no shuffles in the top 10 for these drivers. It's Marcus Batchoon in P11, Shane Hamburg 12th, Michael Maker 13th, Emerson Blatt in 14th, and Josiah Phillips. Your 15 karts to run here. Patrick, we're going to step behind the paywall here in just a second, but any final thoughts before we do so?
I wanted to say, if you enjoyed the action you have seen in qualifying, go ahead and get signed up for that YouTube membership. Once again, don't do it on an Apple because of the Apple tax. Do it on Android or a YouTube browser. And come on and join us at about 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the first of the pre-finals.
This is going to be an exciting one to watch. I echo every sentiment that Patrick just said, and then some. Just double it and hand it off to the next person here. We're going to step aside when we come back. It's time for the pre-finals here on Kart Chaser.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and zero sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Hey guys, I'm Chris G. I'm Kart Chaser's driver fitness coach, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now this is the upright cable row. What you are doing here is you're picking a straight bar, as you see, and we're working the side areas of our shoulders, the medial. Exercise number 3, the dumbbell shrugs. As you guys can tell, I like to pause at the top before releasing. It's great for your strength, for that wheel stability. It's great for those shoulders and that upper back area. Chris G coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do here. See you on the next one.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself, quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's now the 12 o'clock hour, and what does that mean for us? It's time for racing here from MCC. It is time for pre-finals here at the MCC ProAM Challenge round number 2. Let's kick things off with 206 cadets here as we go along. And was just checking in during the lunch break on some of the Miami Grand run here going through for their finals running today. Katowski in Micro Swift got P3 overall, so big celebration there. One of the drivers we're missing from the weekend, but we have plenty of great racing to go and tons of amazing drivers otherwise to bring things through along, but just one of the notable names that is not here today. Harrison Bell up in the front of this 206 cadet pre-final, Sam Hornish in second, Drew Schneider, defending champion, in third, Blake Martinez in fourth, Thixton Collins, Leet Simonelik, Huntsbarger, Karnvalov, and Bradshaw, the 10 karts bringing things through as we come along down the tram lines. Green flag is out, and we are running through. Let's go side by side here for the lead.
Very good run here indeed from our opening foray here into the pre-finals. And for those of you who may not be familiar with how the pre-finals work, it is 8 minutes on the timer. And then once that timer runs out and they cross the line, they get one extra lap. So 8 minutes plus 1 lap is the format that will be used here today for all of our pre-finals. And then when we go to the finals, it'll be 10 minutes plus 2 laps. So lots of great racing action coming to you live here in Ohio. And it's been a very good day so far, as the first lap will be coming away through. And oh, look at this, it's already going to be a pass for the lead here. Now blue and red car making a very solid move. It's about to be 3 wide here, coming through turns 12 to 14. And whew, there will be a retake, but boy, oh boy, that's why I love these 206 cadets. They will just risk it for the brisket, and they will go for any move that even remotely resembles a potential move. Harrison Bell up into the lead.
Now, we talked about Blake Martinez yesterday during qualifying, but just for those of you who didn't tune in for qualifying or may just not remember, as I know sometimes my brain doesn't remember a couple hours ago either, the way the days can go. We talked about Blake Martinez having a not ideal run through in the weekend yesterday going through. Of course, Sam Hornish won. Blake Martinez ended up in 4th. Schneider and Bell 2nd and 3rd respectively. So these top 4 really have been dueling it out, and I mean, as you said, Patrick, they will keep a competition all the way through, up and down the run where they go. Look at Martinez now out of 11, trying to get a run up the hill. Now back down the hill they're going to go. Let's see Martinez to the inside here on Bell. Hornish follows through. Schneider's all the way to the inside. Schneider 4th to 1st. Look at the big shuffle up in the field as Martinez now drops to 5th, possibly to 6th. And that tells me right now everyone has shown up, and this is going to be a wild, wild day. You see the clear hand signals there. Let's go forward. But as they cross the line, Drew Schneider in one move through turn 12, 4th to 1st. Martinez already trying to go back up into P4 here down the inside, does so out of turn 1.
Martinez has been really punchy here today. He's already trying to make several moves coming through turn 11 on the run into turn 12. We saw that on the opening lap, and we're seeing that Sam Hornish now really trying to get punchy here. He's trying to go and try to get a move onto the Irish green car of Drew Schneider. Trying to go ahead and look for a move here. Look how close these guys are getting. They are following so tightly through these corners as we make our way through the S's and on our way to that very amazing turn number 11 coming through now as we go make our descent down the hill. A good amount of momentum there for Sam Hornish. Is he going to go up the inside? Yes, he does. Sam Hornish into the lead at the 206 cadet pre-final. But can he hold it? There's the number 87 having a bit of a moment there. That is Mila Bradshaw, who was off the track just a moment ago. But look at this here, Brad. 3 wide. They do sort it out, but whew. I mean, like, that's got to be heart rate. That's going to be just, your heart rate has got to be through the roof now. Just with how close some of these drivers are getting here. Beautiful racing from the 206 cadets.
Here's the problem right now for Fixton, Martinez, Collins, Bell, and Simonellic, as they battle their way through, what is that letting Schneider and Hornish do? Open up a gap. Here's the problem. You're relying on those top two for that gap to exist, for them to play nice with each other. And as of right now, we've talked about it with this 206 cadet class, there tends to be the gumption of, I'm the faster kart, I jump ahead. That racecraft that you start to see really tune in junior and really show itself in senior, that reserve to not go for a pass, sometimes doesn't show itself in cadet. Now, granted, every driver here is a very wise and smart driver, and you see that's already playing its way through, because Schneider could have went for a dive into 12, didn't go for a dive in turn 12 there. But that means for Hornish, Fixton, and Martinez right now as they go through, as there's Blake Martinez trying to go up the inside of Drew Schneider, trying to go for a run there, now dropping down into 4th place here, holding through as we go along. Just there's Schneider looking for the move to the inside on Hornish, down into turn 1, going to come through, isn't able to make the pass. That leaves him compromised to Chase Thixton. Chase Thixton, big send up the inside of 2, able to get up into 2nd place.
Good setup there from Chase Thixton as they continue to race along here. 3 minutes to go before the final lap as we continue racing on here. We're seeing some really beautiful stuff here as we now see the run, and it looks like it's going to be Blake Martinez thinking about trying to get a move up the inside of Drew Schneider. He will think better of it as we come through the S's leading up to that turn 10. And it's going to be a fantastic run here as we get ready to go on to turn number 11. Down the hill we go. Is anyone going to line up a move this time? Oh, looks like there was a thought. Chase Thixton, he thought about it. He certainly at least contemplated the move. Doesn't quite get it coming through the Barcelona sector, as I like to nickname it. As we continue to race on here, about little over 2 minutes left to go by the time they cross the line. And here we go. Looks like it is going to be a change of lead here as Chase Thixton does lead. But look at this quad feed of cars that are just running through here. Any of these top 4 could lead the race at any given point, Brad.
Don't leave out Harrison Bell in 5th either. That 444 kart was a competitor yesterday, was top of qualifying, is currently sitting down in 5th place. Don't leave out Harrison Bell here. There's plenty of pace to be found in that 444 kart. Big off there from Blake Martinez, all the way off there with Bell. Not happy about it at all. You saw the head shake there for a second. Joins back in, loses tons of momentum though, and that's an unusual spot there out of 7 and 8 to go off. Blake Martinez now head down, right back on the charges. Now the 5th place kart going through, as that lets the 444 of Bell start to come through with Schneider. Hornish, Thixton, they're battling it out up front. Look at the run here through 14, heading towards 15 and 16. And now, there we go, shuffle around, fight for the lead. A little bit of an inside look there from Hornish. But the problem is, if you cut that inside corner there at 14, you really can't hold on. Shuffle for the lead again. Down into turn 1 we go, side by side, shuffled through. Hornish, Thixton shuffling it out. Watch for Schneider. Big send up the inside. Drew Schneider going up into 2nd place.
It's not done yet though, because he is come back. He's into 3rd now, and Hornish right there in P2 trying to hold on here as Thixton does lead here with 39 seconds to go, so they'll get probably about a good 2 laps left on the race, and this is going to be a fantastic run here as it looks like Thixton is starting to build a gap there in the number 139 kart, that blue and white kart that is leading the field at the moment. Oh, look at this. It's going to be a run here. It's going to be a fantastic potential dive here. Trying to get one done on to Hornish. Not quite, but look at it. Looks like Martinez went a bit wide there coming through the exit of turn 12. As now it is going to be just several fights just up and down the field. Just coming through here. And it'll be a white flag. 1 to go here. And it is going to be Thixton who leads the field ahead of Hornish, ahead of Bell, ahead of Schneider as we come into the final lap here, Brad.
Bad news for anyone that is a 444 fan here, live here in Batavia, Ohio. Avoidable contact penalty for the 444 of Harrison Bell has been issued as of the previous lap. So Harrison Bell will be facing a post-race penalty here, currently running P3. That will drop Harrison Bell potentially down to P9. We'll confirm here later through. Thixton currently leading. Thixton currently leading here. Hornish in second. Bell in third. Schneider, Martinez, the top 5 as they run on track. Leaksa, Manelik, Collins, Huntsbarger, Karanfilov, and Bradshaw, the top 10 through. Look at the shuffle into 12 here. Here we go. Defense to the inside from Thixton. Hornish through. Bell trying to work around in that 4 cart. Works up into second here. Thixton holding on. See Hornish and Bell swapping through. Schneider and Martinez a little bit too far back to try to have a challenge here. So we come out of 14. Let's head down through 15 and head up into 16. This is going to be the big run down to the line. A look over the shoulder. It's a drag race. Do you have slipstream? Do you have power? The answer is going to be a resounding no for everyone behind. And Chase Thixton takes the win in the 206 Cadet pre-final. Harrison Bell will be in second. Sam Hornish finds P3. Drew Schneider in fourth. Blake Martinez in fifth. Oliver Collins, 6. Leek Simonelik, Wyatt Huntsbarger, Philip Karanfilov, and Mila Bradshaw. Your 10 cart here in 206 Cadet. But again, remember, Harrison Bell, second on track, but with a penalty for avoidable contact being handed out by the race director, that will drop down the order significantly. It's going to be a long, long final for that 444.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a tough one for him. I mean, he's got the pace. It's clear as day, but I mean, starting from about P9 or 10 and trying to make your way through the field is tough for anybody. I mean, we've seen it before, and I mean, I'm not saying we won't see it again, but it's definitely going to make his day a lot harder as we get ready now for the 206 junior category, getting ready to come out here. And this is going to be a fantastic run because the 206 juniors are going to be a beautiful class when they come out.
That they are here, and as we get set up going through, remember there was a warning handed out to Homer Heeman for avoidable contact in the qualifying session. So then you had Benjamin and Richard who ran up in the front there on that go as it sits. Let's take a look at your grid. Evan Frey, Homer Heeman, Elijah Matson-Vigas, William Richard, Carson Benjamin, Lincoln DeCoster, and Eli Alexander. The 7 carts here in 206 junior as they go. So Carson Benjamin post-race or post-qualifying got dropped down the order as well. So tons of shuffling up here. That is the importance of tech, though. Post-qualifying tech, I've seen it shake things up time and time again, and well, we see it yet again here happen through on the day as we will double check exactly what that penalty was for here, Patrick.
Yeah, it's not exactly the greatest of starts to start off with a penalty here, but I mean, you live and learn. These drivers are pretty young, so they'll get wiser with age, and I mean, I'm sure they already got really good experience. They're definitely a much better driver than I am, that's for certain. I mean, that's not even up for debate. As we get ready to go ahead and see what these 206 juniors can do, and honestly, this is going to be a pretty fun class here.
It is. I'm going to correct myself really quick because I know the graphics said Carson Benjamin was down, but looking at this here, Carson Benjamin is still showing on pole officially right now on the official announcements in the MCC ProAM karting. So it is going to be Benjamin on pole with Richard, Homer Heeman in third, Frey in fourth, Elijah Matson-Vigas fifth, and Lincoln DeCoster sixth going through. So I do apologize there for the misannouncement. Didn't mean to scare anyone down on the grid on who was where as we go through. Yeah, we are showing that was mixed up there slightly. So apologies for that. For those of you live trackside, I saw a couple of people with concerned looks there. Rest assured, double checking ourselves there. It looks like it is just a graphical glitch on our side. No problem there going through. Again, though, that warning going out to the number 43 of Homer Heeman there in the run on this Battaglia de Kart Day 2 here. National layout of the circuit, 0.95 miles here, Patrick. It's a lot of fun to watch how these karts are handling as we are waiting on these 206 juniors to get released here in less than 60 seconds.
Yeah, it's been really fun watching these karts navigate through this track. It's a pretty easy track to get the overtakes done on, and we were seeing a bunch of them specifically on the run from turn 11 down into turn 12, and then obviously coming into turn 1. So this is a track where overtaking can be very, very easy, but you really got to pick your moment to make a pass stick. Getting ahead of someone is one thing, staying ahead of them is a completely different thing. as we get ready for the second pre-final on the day. And it is going to be the 206 juniors getting ready to light it up here on this beautiful MCC national circuit.
And again, one final recap of that grid. Carson Benjamin, William Richard, Homer Heeman, Evan Frey, Elijah Matson-Vigas, Lincoln DeCoster here running through. Up the hill we go. They've already formed it up side by side. One of the things I love about this junior category, they like to form up into the grid here early going through. By the way, if you are trackside, it is currently 60 degrees. Real feel shows us 72. A beautiful day for karting. We said it earlier. I say it one more time here. Beautiful day for karting in Batavia, Ohio, as they come around turn 12 here. And it's so weird to see them at slower speeds because they don't grip. They don't, not running through too crazy here as we snake our way through the field. Everyone following behind Carson Benjamin, trying to warm those tires up, trying to make sure that number 98 kart is ready to go as they come through and along. And you see thumbs up there from the official, not having to tell them to slow down. They're doing just what they need to do. They're in a perfect pace line here as they come out, heading down the long straightaway here for their 8 minutes plus 1 lap, heading towards the tram lines. And now we wait. You see the point there saying here is your blue start cone. And